Hi, I'm Rocket with Wreckless Blenders. Welcome to Musings from Rocket Cellar. In today's session, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Primitivo, give you an update on the big party. Let's get going. So Primitivo. Primitivo is a fantastically beautiful grape that has all sorts of characteristics. I remember in early conversations, in recent conversations actually, I was talking with somebody and they're like, well, isn't Zinfandel a descendant of Primitivo? You know, because there's many people who call Primitivo the Italian Zin. And so I reached out to JT and I'm like, well, what's up with that? And he sends back this text, and I think this is a great example, so I'm going to read it to you. So way back, there was a theory that Primitivo was the scion off the Zinfandel family tree. And that's because, you know, many people thought the wines tasted similar. Turns out they both have the same parent, a Croatian grape named Krznak Kastelanski. Krznak. I'm going to say that going forward. Primitivo ended up grown in Apulia, Italy, and Zin in California. So yes, in a sense, they are from the same family. They just are separated by geography. That's really fascinating because think of the Pinot. I've talked about Pinot Noir here before and how many clones there are of Pinot. And often those clones emerge based on the soil and the climate and all the different things that are around it, so they become hardy. So the more hardy, this is evolution, right? So the ones that survive are the ones that are going to do better in those climates. And you end up with Pinot has such a wide variety because you have Pinot Gris, or Pinot Grigio, which is a white Pinot, and white grape, and you have all the way down to clone 667 and 776 and 777, all these crazy variations, hot climate, mild climate, cool nights, warm nights, different types of soil. Anyway, I'm going to stop waxing rhapsodic about Pinot. I just recently, we had a dinner for Miss Rocket, her birthday, and we brought out some Pinots, and we brought out, the first one we brought out was, well, it had like almost a tar taste. That is something, and in some wines that is very, that's a great thing. And in this one, it just was not hitting us well. So I ended up opening, I think, one or maybe even two more different, oh yeah, definitely two, because one of the guests, Gary, he said, well, I've never found a Pinot Rosé that I like. And I'm like, oh, hey, I've got one for you. So we pulled one of the Bouchain Pinot Vins, I believe it's called, or Pinot Gris. It's the gray. The name means gray wine. We pulled one of those out, and what we realized is Gary's experience with Rosé Pinots has been with Pinots that he doesn't like. So the idea is go find a Pinot that you like, and then find a Rosé from that winemaker, that vineyard, or whatever. And it was a great experiment, and we had such a good time. And then we opened up another Bouchain Pinot. And clearly, I'm a Bouchain fan for Pinots. I have like 8 or 9 different Pinot sets down here, and I had to pull them all out, and I'm looking at them from different wineries that we visited. And we did make a Pinot. The Wreckless Blenders were previously known as Fat Cat Vintners. Now we don't get to use that because of various legal reasons. But prior to that, in late 90s, and this was before I joined, the Fat Cats made a Pinot, I think it's 96 or something like that. And it was such a pain in the butt. Great. It took forever to age. It was so finicky. They basically said, no, we're out. We're not going to make Pinot. And I think I celebrate that decision because I know how difficult it can be talking to some of the winemakers who work with it. And, there's so many variables when it comes to a Pinot. Coming back to Primitivo, right? So Primitivo having these dual ancestries created amazing fodder for Jim Brown to pull together the back label. So let me give you the back label reading. There was once a fierce Croatian Croatian pirate known far and wide as Very Darkbeard, who terrorized the Aegean Sea. On his way elsewhere, Very Darkbeard shipwrecked on Italy's heel of the boot, Apulia. Much of his cargo washed ashore with him, clinging atop. The native Apulians instantly threatened him with walking the plank right there on the beach. But he saved the day by showing them how to plant the cuttings of his native grape stock called Kırjak. After many years and glorious harvest, Mr. Beard slipped away and surfaced somewhere in El Dorado, California, quite possibly near the very grape ranch of Andy and Elizabeth Standeven. Pirate wine is not for the faint of heart or foolish of nature. Consume with care. Very good. And I want to do a quick shout out to Andy and Elizabeth. I think in several of these musings I've used slightly different pronunciations. So Standeven, I believe, is how you say your last name. Apologies for that. I wanted to do that publicly. So the front label of this, so when I came up with this, thinking Croatian, thinking, these different influences, I decided I wanted something that had motion in it and interest. And then I colored this purple. So the Grape Man is what I call this label. If you don't have any, the 2019 is out of this world, and it's definitely worth picking some up. If you have some, it's definitely worth picking up some more. So the upcoming big party, October 23rd at the winery, noon to 4-ish. Come by. We're going to have food, and we'll have a whole thing set up. Come back and we'll have tasting tables. It'll be nice to hang out. It's the normal way we would run these prior to COVID is have 3 events a year. And we'd have one in the spring, one in the summer, and one in the fall. And that'd be the time you can come pick up your wine. So it'd be a big event. Everybody come together, spend 4 or 5 hours together, and off you go with your wine. This whole thing with COVID and the lockdown and starting these curbside events, we're going to keep doing that. And because we find it's much more interesting to have interactions with you on a regular basis. And we want to have big events. And we're going to try our best to correspond these big events with when a normal curbside day would be. In this case, we're having to go a week early on October 23rd because of various Halloween activities that are occurring. So drop by October 23rd. It's going to be a wonderful time. Hope to see you there. As far as the rest of the year goes for the Wreckless Wine Days, you definitely want to keep up with this on the website or with the emails. Things we're still working out when things are going to happen because we've got the holidays coming up and timing is like I think the December one would normally fall right on Christmas Day, which hey, hanging out and drinking wine on Christmas Day is great, but that tends to be a family time, so probably not going to have it on Christmas Day. I did want to let you know that in Concord, the November one, so that would be the first weekend in November, we're not going to have one that weekend. So the next one in Concord will be the first Saturday in December. All right, enough of that. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying in the flow, taking care of yourself. It's always great to see you all out at the different Wreckless Wine Days. Look forward to seeing you soon. I'm Rocket. This has been another Musings from Rocket Cellar.